Alright, hello and welcome to Plugin Along, a stream dedicated to LOTRO plugins. Well, I should turn off that tab, otherwise I'll get an echo. Last time on Plugin Along, we worked on the Furtherhome quick guide for the Festival Buddy plugin. Today, we're going to continue working through complications presented by allowing more than one quick guide per festival. As always, feel free to jump into chat with your thoughts and questions. In the meantime, let's take a look where we are. Alright, we have a Wizzik in chat. We also have a Wizzik in here in the broken, cracked flagon. Hello, Wizzik. So, what are we going to do? We're going to be looking at this Festival Buddy plugin. And so, I have some bugs that have cropped up, but the main goal is we have a quick guide. And this is new since last week. We now have buttons at the top for festivals that have more than one quick guide. So if we go to spring, we can, well, oh right, a bug that I've noticed is that, no, hang on, I gotta unload and reload. Why is this misbehaving? Okay, that's weird. Alright, well, it's working for this. Oh, of course. I know. When we change, we needed, I should add a note. Okay. New bug. We are only tracking the current quick guide. Need the current quick guide for each festival, so we can jump back and forth. Okay, so that's okay. That's something for later. So if we're looking at the Furtherhome guide, one of the things that the quick guide has always allowed you to do is turn off some of the quests if you just don't want to do them. Maybe you don't want to chase away the beggars in Winterhome, whatever. And so this is my completionist character, and so I know that I'm going to do 2 extra quests. I'm going to be gathering guests and, oh, I'm sorry, 1 extra quest because I finally finished off the do 10 of the races. So I'm going to do 1 extra quest, gathering guests, and only one of the 2 counts. The actual gathering the guests, I think, does not count for the wrapper, but turning in the daily one does, or vice versa. And so I only need 9 quests here. There's 12 quests total, so I want to turn off the 3 most time-consuming quests in theory. We'll actually run through them all on this character just so we can see how it's done. But we will, on a further character, demonstrate what it's like to not do all of them. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and remember, and this is something I want to incorporate into the plugin, but we're going to remember our Fateful Toolkit, because we want extra festival tokens. And we're going to come on over to the captain. And also, we're going to go remember to turn off escape key closes Festival Buddy windows, because otherwise, I'm going to have a problem. Okay, so if we're going to do everything, we do want to make sure we have our fishing pole equipped. Great. Now, I've got a cosmetic set up where my fishing pole isn't visible as I'm running around. That's okay. If you like it, it's possible to fix that. But we're going to go ahead and get the In Celebration of Midsummer. We'll do the Gathering Guests last. We're just going to run through this. It's going to take about 20 minutes to do all 12 of the quests here. So we can see, take In Celebration of Midsummer from Captain Katafos in the Cracked Flagon. Done. Now, Festival Buddy will start a little timer whenever you pick up the wrapper or whenever you turn on the last thing of the festival. And then we see, take the 2 quests from the Roma. Okay. Done. Take assisting the cook. We're going to run on through here. And go out the side door to get the 4 quests from Makama. Okay, here's Merkama right here. We're going to grab all 4 of these. Normally, I would leave off the middle 2 at least, fishing for advice and offering to help, as they take me the longest. But we're going to do a full run here just to show off Festival Buddy and show off Midsummer. So, the next thing, build the sand castle next to the thirsty beachgoer. Now, I think I may have accidentally clicked on the thirsty beachgoer, in which case I will have confused, yep, Festival Buddy. Now, Festival Buddy can only monitor the state of the game by the things that appear in your standard quest log, chat log, quest log, these kind of places. Oops, there it is. Or by seeing how you interact with the world. So this looks refreshing. We can see that message and know that you picked up the flagon.
Greetings, traveler.
Okay. But our targeting was a little messed up there. Because there's no quest progression there. We're just looking at targeting. I accidentally targeted too soon and messed up, but it's okay. Festival Buddy will kind of sort itself out that way. Let's come on over to Magordo and pick up 4 quests. 3 that are visible here. Already in use. Mac Apple says, hi, hello. We'll pick up Cat Conundrum, and we're going to do yes to cats. And also eyesore. Okay. Now, I'd like to jump over here and get this seagull here just to get it done. Because there is a narrow window where the seagulls do not seem available to chase away. As they're flying away, they still are. When they despawn, they're not. When they respawn, they are. So there's this tiny a window, and I just don't want to risk it. So if I see that the bird is there or might be there, I'll try and grab it. Okay. Now, the downside of my fishing pole not being visible is that I can only rely on the bobber to tell me when I have caught a fish. That's okay. Cool. Caught a fish. Good luck, Wizzick. I think you're catching a fish. So, I would normally mount back up here. Cool. We're going to feed that skinny cat. We're going to come on in here to get the Let's Go Fly a Kite up to the highest height. There's a seagull right here half the time. Go ahead and talk to the Relaxing Holidayer. And we're also going to do the sandcastle here. Go ahead and pull out your kite while you're doing the sandcastle. It won't actually pull out until you're done, but you can't pull out the kite unless you're not moving. And so queuing it up like that is a guarantee that you'll be able to pull it out before when you're not moving. So that's nice. Now, we don't need it anymore for right now. Not until we're done with housekeeping at the very least. So we're going to come on over here and we're going to fish. And up there's Wizzick. Following along. That looks like it's bobbing. Hard to tell without my fishing pole. Hey, it's a fish. Okay, great. Sometimes you'll catch a not fish, so just watch out for that. Make sure, especially if you're using a quick guide, make sure you get that green bar on the objective. I'm going to pick up these 2 seagulls here. We're going to say hi to Wizzick. And then we're going to run on into the inn and start doing housekeeping because we want to be catching the 2 cats on the other side of things, and we need the book for the offering help. And now, if you're not doing offering help, of course, there's a little flexibility here, but I still want to get those cats sooner rather than later, just in case they are gone when we look for them. We can just head out and catch them later. Oh my goodness, Thrums, thank you so much. I was muted. I cleared my nose earlier. So, thank you for catching that. Following along at home, though, so we just finished up the housekeeping. We grabbed the captivating book while we're out there, and we want to get these cats as soon as we can, just in case they are not there when we look for them. We can just leave them and come back later. So we've got our kite out. Remember that you have to be motionless to summon out the kite, but you can put it away while you are moving. And you can't summon it out while you are mounted up, so pull it out first and then mount up, and it'll remember that you had it out. Excuse me. So, we're coming back over to the relaxing holiday. Okay. So, at this point, we can mount back up. We are more or less done in town. We're going to hit the, feed the sassy cat on the way out. And if there's any other irksome sequels, but I think we have all those. Okay. So we're going to do that sassy cat here, and then we are done in town. We're only doing not town stuff. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and remove all those quests. They're just cluttering this up. So we're heading on out. We do want to have our kite out, though, because we're next to another spot. So as we dismount for the flotsam, go ahead and trigger the kite so that it's out. We can run on over here to the unsettled sites here. Go ahead and continue that so that we can get sent back for the cushion. Grab the flotsam while you're here, if it's available. If it's on respawn, don't worry, we're coming right back. Okay, so we're heading back into town to grab the cushion. This is feels like my best description for this quest is kind of a spiky quest. We just keep on going in and out and in and out and in and out, and we keep on returning to somewhere around the cracked flagon. In this case, the cushion's over here, and if you couldn't get the cat earlier, go ahead and get it now. Same thing, if any of the seagulls were missing, you'll have this chance now to circle back around to them. I kind of was tempted to grab that seashell over by that cat, but it doesn't really work with the full run. Okay, so we're coming back over here to the unsettled site here. Go ahead and continue that quest. Come on over here to the hopeful suitor, pick this up, and then back into town for the last time. Well, not the last time, but the last time for offering help. Okay, so basket's on the left side here by the side door. I say the side door. If there's a side door on the east side of the building, I haven't noticed it, but it would be nice from a symmetry perspective. Okay, don't forget to grab the filled picnic basket. Only then will the quick guide advance. And you can leave any door. It doesn't really matter. I just like that one because it's nice and close by. So we're going to bring the filled basket over, so we're running just back over the bridge here. Roderick says, "Hi everyone, hello! Welcome to Midsummer in Furtherhome, and Festival Buddy too." Okay, so we are bringing this picnic basket over to the hopeful suitor, and then we will move on over to the dancing person. Great. So we need this kite out while we're doing interacting here. So go ahead and dismount, make sure the kite's out. It's just past the merrymaker. So I don't have it yet, but I will have it just on the other side of the merrymaker. And here, and we can put it away. We're done with that. Okay, so if there's lots of people around, get the flotsam first. It has a bit of a cooldown period of about 5 seconds. Like after you use it is 5 to 10 seconds where other people can as well. Then it despawns, and then after a few seconds it comes back. And so you just really don't want to be stuck in the middle there if you can avoid it. Now, for some of these flotsams, there's nothing else to do. The next flotsam we can see there's a good place for a sandcastle, so do them in whichever order makes sense. It's here, so I'll always prefer the flotsam if I can, and then go to the sandcastle. Now this will be the last sandcastle, it's number 4, and then the final flotsam over here. Now, go a little bit to the right, you'll be lined up for a straight shot to the swimming spot. And we can see, well, we would see, except I removed them all. There we go. And then immediately head on over to the ramp. So at this point, we can work on assisting the cook. And a lot of it's on this ramp up into the hills. But even if you don't do assisting the cook, if you're doing the fishing quest, then you'll still need to go up near the waterfall. If you aren't doing either of those, though, you'll get to bypass a fair amount of this space. because of the how long it takes to actually fish the fish, I think it saves a little bit more time to not do the fishing and instead do offering to help. I'm sorry, not offering to help. Don't do offering to help. It takes so long. Don't do the fishing quest. If you're only not doing 2, those are the 2 I would recommend. And then assisting the cook, it's fine. You're mostly in the right places, but the last tree just feels like a little bit of a slog. And so that's one of the ones I tend to leave off. And then the last one, searching for swimming spots. That one's definitely sends you all over. And if you can avoid that I might even do assisting the cook over searching for swimming spots. Okay, after you get this one, go ahead and remount up because we need to get ourselves over to the waterfall. Roderick does point out that the biggest advantage of fishing is you can fish a bag that contains 10 Midsummer coins, and if you have the Fateful Toolkit, 11 Midsummer coins. This is true, and worthwhile. Yeah, Roderick says, may I ask, is there a plugin when selling items so it shows me / filter category? I'm not sure I understand that on first reading. Let me recast and... Is there a plugin when selling items so it shows me?
I think there's not 6.
So, Roderick, the first thing that comes to mind when you ask that question is the built-in category system in LOTRO, where you can filter things on common, uncommon, rare, and what's the other categories? Common and below, uncommon, rare, and incomparable. But I'm not sure that's what you're asking. If you can clarify, that would be great, because I don't want to answer incorrectly or badly. Delirium points out they had a run where they got the bag 3 times. Yeah, I haven't seen it very often lately because I tend not to do the fishing quest because it takes so long. But when I do it, I'd say once in a while. So you want to head more or less northeast, but if you go down this slope here, then you won't take falling damage to get down here. And that's fine. We will get falling damage to come on down here to this olive tree, especially if you jump right before you leave. But how can I resist? Now, if you are not doing the fishing, don't head over to the right and pick up these 3 seashells between here and that rock wall. If you are doing fishing, go ahead and just keep going left from here because there are 3 seashells on that little island. But you don't want to take the penalty of swimming out to that island if you don't need to be there for the fishing. It just takes a little bit longer to fish out and back. Oh, I see. Hardik says, sorry, I mean, when I'm selling gear, I usually do gear plus consumables. I like to keep task items. I like to keep task items too. That's why I have 5 different task carry-alls in my inventory, in fact. I realize not everyone can have carry-alls. They're a bit of a pricey quality of life item, so no worries. I guess the first thing I would recommend is anything you lock won't show up in your selling window, so locking those stacks as they come in can be a way to deal with that. If you're not a subscriber, though, then you may not have access to the Subscriber Town services, so you can't just kind of come in here and lock things while you're riding from place to place. So when you get there, I would recommend, if you're not already, play around with the filter that's already in the shop window, because if you start with common stuff, that might just be all of your task items, right? And so you can just go lock, or, you know, if some of it's trash items, throw it away then. And then from then on, you can either just unlock it there or go into uncommon and then rare and then everything. You're slightly ahead of me. It was like, we're heading back to the mainland. And then west for swimming. But that being said, plugins do not have the ability to override the store interface or interact with the store on your behalf. So there's no plugin-based solution that I am aware of that would allow you to modify that interaction with the store. But a plugin could show you all of the things that are in your inventory that are tasks, or vice versa, everything that's not a task item. Plugins can definitely do that. One thing I would recommend, though, if you haven't seen it, I find the Prime plugin, the Prime Bags plugin, very handy for creating sub bags. I'm not describing that very well. Let me go ahead and just install that. All right, so I've got the LOTRO Plugin Compendium. We're coming on in here to Prime. We'll go ahead and get that installing here for a moment. All right, so we're coming on down here to the second to last swimming spot. Do a jump before you hit that beach. It shallows off real fast, and if you're a hobbit, you're going to be practically drowning out here. It's very dangerous. Okay, Hardik said yes, I use that one as well. The travel windows, my best favorite plugins. Yeah, okay. So if you're already familiar with it, then I won't go down that route too much. As we're coming around the corner here, we have the opportunity to grab the last of the juicy lemons from the lemon trees. The closest is the one just up the hill on the left. There's another one over to the right, which is a little closer to the swimming hole, but is further off the track. So this one seems like the fastest one to get. Okay, so we're coming on down here to the last swimming hole. The last one, you can actually touch the swimming spot without going off the shelf here and getting dismounted, which is very handy. There we go. We are done now. So at this point, you can either run back to town or take a travel skill. For instance, I'm going to go ahead and do a return to Bree because there's a horse right there that'll take you to the dock in town, and I think that is considerably faster than running all the way back. Wizard can maybe run back to town and tell me how it goes. So, a milestone to Minas Tirith also works great, but then you are loading into Minas Tirith. So if your computer at all struggles, even with Midsummer Minas Tirith, which isn't as bad as full-time pre-war Minas Tirith, that can be worth avoiding. So West Bree, personal housing, if you have that, because the far-ranging stable master also has this. Hunter travel back to the party tree via the campsite fire. Whatever mechanism you use to get back here. Sadly, as far as I know, there's no milestone here. But that matches up with their general desire to not let people into these spaces out of season, except they are explicitly doing that here, so I don't know. Okay, so we are just running through and turning in all the quests that we've done now. And as we can see, we're coming up on 19 minutes for the full smash. Okay. Come on in, get the cook, and then turning in housekeeping and seashells. Okay. A couple of quests ago, I could have gone ahead and turned in the wrapper. We'll do that now. That's going to stop the timer as well. There you go. So, my silly nose. Okay, so we have just picked up the wrapper, done 12 quests, and turned the wrapper in. Now, like I said, if you're concerned more about time, how much time it takes, than you are about getting every single token or all the legendary item reward track experience, whatnot, then you can dial that back. And I would definitely recommend dialing back offering to help and then fishing from a time perspective. Or if you like the extra tokens from fishing, then assisting the cook. That I think that one takes a fair amount of time just to interact with all the different things, even if you are largely encountering these things as you do. The swimming spots might also be a good one instead of assisting the cook, because the fishing overlaps with the cook enough up at the waterfall that it's those two western swimming spots that just, there's nothing else that you're doing over there except a tree. And you don't need to do that. So let's go ahead and look at the last one quest. I've already done 10 races, so I never need to do that again, but I do need to finish up my gathering guests. Indeed, I've only got 10 of them done. The next one is going to Suri Kaila. So let's go ahead and pick that up. Now, these quests have a cooldown of 7 days, so they're going to start I think 7 days, and they're going to start popping back in as available. So despite the fact that the first one I did was Breetown, it's available again. So watch out for that. If you're trying to do all of them at least once, then I would definitely just consult with your deed to see where you are instead of being like, oh, which ones are available. So we're going to go ahead and do Surrey Kyla. We're going to come in to my travel skills, and I don't know, do I have a Surrey Kyla? Probably not. Now, if you have a hunter, that's fine. Otherwise, you know what I need? I need a travel map. Let's go to Travel Window 2 and get that installed. Great. Remember, if you install plugins while LOTRO is running, go ahead and come into your plugin manager and hit this green arrow or type/plugin space refresh. Either one's fine. And we're going to go ahead and pull up Travel Window 2. And remember where they put that little luggage. And we want to go ahead and turn into map view because this is just so nice. Okay, so I want to go up to Furtherhome and where do I think is best for that? Let's go ahead and go to our far-ranging Sailmaster. Tellurian says Premium House Rivendell Surrey Kyla. Interesting. Is Tellurian's route? Yeah, I could see that. I'm also curious if the in-game map has a suggestion because my default, and also this is not as efficient, would be the Westgate of Bree to Avendim to Ostfarad to Surrey Kyla or something like that. No, Westgate. Well, you can get from Surrey Kyla to Westgate of Bree. I don't know if it goes the other way though. Let's find out. We're gonna go to Westgate of Bree via the festival grounds. We're gonna get rid of that window. Little Redhead says, I think B4 doesn't have a premium house on the server, which is a fair point. I don't think B4 does have that. So, Westbury does have a swift travel to Surrey Kyla. Now, don't get caught out. The travel map will show you, if you are at Surrey Kyla, where can you go, and not all travel is bi-directional. And so just because Surrey Kyla has traveled to Westgate of Bree doesn't necessarily mean that Westgate of Bree has traveled to Surrey Kyla, though often it's bi-directional. Sometimes it is just only in one way, and you gotta watch out for that. Okay, so Surrey Kyla, we can see there's a rough circle ahead. The format of the Gathering Guest quest is there are 4 potential visitors to Furtherhome, and only one of them is actually interested at a given time. And so you need to not annoy people who don't want to be badgered. And if you get 3 failures before you get 1 success, then you fail the quest. You have to go pick it up again, and then you can give it another try. We can see potential visitors in front of us, though. There's 2 of them right now. As soon as you get close enough, it'll activate rings. We can see 1, 2, 3 over there, and 1, 2 over here. I'm going to step over here. So, whenever they don't have a ring, they can emote, and if they look sad in their emotes, then maybe they want a tropical vacation. Sad or bored. So if they're scratching their head, if they're sighing, like this potential visitor is, then they could use a distraction. Let's invite them to Furtherhome. Hooray! If I had bothered any of the other 3 before they had transitioned into being the person who is sad or bored, then I would have gotten a strike against me. 3 strikes, you're out. Interesting. Tellurium says, the Rivendell to Surrey Kyla route does not need Lossoth rep. That's very valuable for any character who's not my completionist, because of course we are full up with Surrey Kyla reputation. Although I don't know what order these are in. No, they're not Surrey. They're the Lossoth. Yeah, so we're good. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go ahead and use my milestone over to Minas Tirith to get back there. Yeah, there. Early in the game, there's a way to get to Rivendell just by accepting the quest from Gandalf for the flight to the Lonely Mountain. That will insta teleport you to Rivendell. But since I've completed that quest, I no longer have access to it. I could swift travel there from the south gate of Bree. That would be fine. Okay, so we're back in the Shield Isles. Let's go ahead and turn in gathering guests daily. And we're going to see that that progresses our guests. Oh, guest gathered is already progressed. That's going to give us the credit for the daily wrapper if we haven't completed that already. So I still need the party tree, the 21st hall, and trestle bridge. But 3 more days, and then this, the possibly last of the deeds for Furtherhome will be done. I've done the races, the cats, and then yes, gathering guests. Okay. So that's a full run, and we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to Wizik while we log out and log into another character who will be right here. Tyrion says pointing to Osgurth or the Angle of Mythithel might also bring you to Rivendell really fast. Yeah, but at that point, it's somewhere to Rivendell to Surrey-Kyla, and at that point, Westgate of Bree to Surrey-Kyla feels like a very competing path, even if you have to bounce through the festival grounds, because it's an instant horse. You don't have to spend time interacting with a menu or any sort of induction bar. Okay, of course, let's not forget to go ahead and put our Fateful Toolkit away if we have one, and we're going to switch on out. Okay, waiting for logout to complete. So, let's go ahead and log into, we'll go ahead and come into Yahris, my hunter. So, what we're going to demonstrate here is what if we're only doing 10 quests? And for that one, I think skipping fishing and offering to help is the most bang for the buck. So that's where we're going to start. So we're going to come on in here to Midsummer, Quick Guides. And we're going to say why. Oh, this is a bug, or this was a bug. So right now, and in fact, let me fix up my directory here. Documents. So documents, Lord of the Rings Online, plugin data, and we're just going to go ahead and blow that away because I have backed up all my actual plugin data so we can try things out. We're also going to come into plugins because this is very full, and get rid of that. Okay, so great. So right now, when we're loading Festival Buddy, we can see all of these are set to not be on, but if we unload again and load back in, then they're all checked. So there's something off there, and that is a bug I would like to address. So let's look at that first. So we're going to come into plugin data and kill it, and then coming into the code and see if we can figure out what's going on here. So new save file has all quick add entries disabled for the first load instead of enabled. Fix that. Great, will do. So we don't have a save file. Does that mean we're going through the upgrade process? Oh, what a great question. Let's find out. So we're going to do a turbine.shell.writeLine of the name of this function. And that's all. So we're going to go ahead and load this, and let's pull off a standard chat channel. And we can see, yes, the way this system works is indeed, it makes a old style save file and then ports it forward. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but it does mean we're in here. So let's go ahead and add a note here. So turbine.shell.writeLine setting, and we want the quest name. No, we want that to be the actual variable. And you can't concatenate booleans, so let's go ahead and use a special function that will sanitize it. Okay, so let's make sure we come back in here to our plugin data folder and blow that away again, and we're going to load this up. In fact, let's make this a little bit taller so we can see what's going on. We did not. Oh, maybe because the settings aren't there at all. Okay, fair enough. But if the settings aren't there at all, we do want them to be there. Okay, but still, that tells us we're not in there. Main? Where does this stuff get loaded anyway? Let's find out. Okay, so in main, so we merge into here. Okay, and we're coming from default settings. Default settings has this, that's fine, has all this. So when it merges all these in, it should be there. So if we come into, oh, that's interesting. When does the options window get created and why is it wrong? Okay, so load settings file character. This gets called here in load data, all right. Where does load data get called? From here, great. But draw windows is here. So draw options window, it should have this. So what's up with that? So we want to see, where's the merge happening? Merge is happening up here. Okay, so settings. I would like to know what's going on in settings. So turbine.shell.writeLine, creating options win. We know settings is going to be that. Okay, I would very much like to know what's going on. So we're going to come on in here, delete the created files, and load this. And this is just a unknowable order of where things are, so we may have to look around a little bit. Okay, quick guide quests to use. I do know what's going on. Okay, this is directly related to upgrade code that I wrote, which is trying to transfer stuff done in the old style to the new style. And what we have to do here is say, we're just blanket blowing stuff away, which would be fine. But in this case, I think is no good. So instead, every quick guide has at least 3 quests. So instead, if we take a look at settings quick guide to use, if we actually say if the number of those quick guides to use, festival, well, that's quick guide to use, that's not right. Quick guide quests to use, yes. If the number of that is greater than max quick guides, which we don't actually have yet. In fact, if it's less than or equal to that, then we can do all of this. And we need a max quick guides for our reference. That's going to come in here, 2 quick guides. Right now, the system only supports up to 3 quick guides for reasons we'll see. So, if the number of these things is less than or equal to that, then we're in... Oh, wait. Sorry. If the number that are here is greater than that max quick guides, then there's 4 or more of them, then we need to recreate the save file as expected. Okay. And that's because we used to only have 1 quick guide per festival, and now we have n quick guides per festival. Okay, let's pull this up. Yep, hey, there's a error. Attempt to compare nil with a number. Great. Well, I am curious what's going on with that. So turbine.shell.WriteLine. This thing is this. Cool. What are you seeing? Of course, I can't use the number there. Florian says, did I hear a mini guides for the same festival? Yes, or many, I should say, not many. Yeah, so I wanted to have a separate concept for the festival guide for Minas Tirith and Furtherhome, but the way it was originally written, there was just a single quick guide, which was for Minas Tirith. That was the origin of all of this quick guide nonsense. And so I tried just throwing everything in there, but it's very uncumbersome and not obvious which ones are which. And if you only want to do some of the quests, you want your quick guide to reflect that. So I thought it was easier to separate all the settings so that you could actually have N guides per thing. Okay, so the number sign doesn't work. Okay. What's the easiest way to count the entries in a table besides just iterating through them? KV in pairs of this. So local count equals 0. Count equals count plus 1. End. So if count is greater than that, let's try that. Okay. So Tony says, so I can include mine now and not exchange little redheads with mine? Yeah, that's possible. Which one are you talking about? Midsummer or Inling Ill Association? Attempt to compare nil with a number, but I want to. All right, so max quick guides isn't okay. That's fine. Great. Does that mean the pound operator works in general? A table count pound. Okay, pound only works for tables with integers, it looks like. Okay. All right, so then it says, especially in the Ale Association. That was one of the driving factors for this, besides Midsummer itself, was that the guide in the Gale Association quick guide is designed around having a hunter, and if you don't have a hunter, then it's also not so good for you. Okay, so we can now load this correctly. We're now seeing these values. So that was a me problem. Awesome, perfect. So we can load this up. Let's go ahead and we fix that. Great. And let's document why we're doing that. The old system had a number of quests for each quick guide. However, if the save file is missing, the process of creating it ends up going through this function. Maybe fix that later. Little Redhead says, if you're not running with a hunter, what are you even doing? Right? Okay. only do the following logic if it looks like the old system instead of quests per quick guide per festival. Okay, so that's just a little documentation for our purposes. Neat. Okay, so let's take a look at what this would look like if we were doing less. First of all, let's get rid of all of that. Midsummer, Furtherhome. So, if I just want to do the wrapper and nothing else, I think offering to help is expensive, and I think fishing for advice is expensive. If I know I'm going to be doing the race as well, if I know I'm doing gathering guests, then I would look at assisting the cook and searching for swimming spots as the next ones to not do. But we're going to do 10 on Yacharis here, and that'll take about 12 and a half minutes instead of the 20 minutes. So let's take a look at that. So we're in Midsummer, we're in the quick guide. We should turn off escape key. Okay, great. So we're going to go ahead and say we're doing Furtherhome, rate. And start picking stuff up. Now it's going to be the same in here. It's going to change outside with the first of the 2 NPCs where we only take the first and last quest. Tyrion says, I'm not always on a hunter. What? So weird. I'm not always on a hunter either. I'm just often with a hunter. Alright, searching for swimming spots. And then we are going to come down here and get the sandcastle. But notably, we're not going to worry about the thirsty beachgoer and the strong drink, or any of the other beachgoers for that matter. Okay, we're going to come pick up these 4 quests over here. The 3 visibles and the 1 follow-on for cat. We are, of course, going to say yes to cats today. And bounce on over here for a seagull on the way to getting this cat. And there's a seagull between these, the teal and the purple carpet right here. There's a seagull over there by the light pole. And we're skipping the fishing, so we don't have to stop in that. There's a seagull between us and the cat. And we'll get the cat. Pick up the quest. Great. There's a seagull here. Sandcastle, and now's a great time to tell our kite to come out, because we're going to run over to the slinky cat, and the launch point is between the 2. There we go. We can put it away now. We're not fishing, so we can go ahead and mount up. Grab this seagull. Grab this seagull. And then we are going to go inside because, again, we do want to make sure we don't miss out on the cats if they're in the middle of despawning, being chased off. I don't know why anyone would chase them off, but just in case they do. Oh, we're in a hunter. We should run faster. It's like the best reason to play a hunter. Okay, so we are want to get the 2 cats over by the front of the inn, and for doing that, this is set up this way because it's assuming if you were doing offering to help, you need to come back here at this point. But I think it's reasonable to do anyway, just because if you're going to not have one of those cats, you want to know it sooner rather than later. Okay. Come on in here. The Redhead says, it'd probably take a bunch of time, but it would be cool to have an in-league ill association plugin where you could take boxes of what travel skills you have and get the optimal travel. It gets better than that, Little Redhead. Plugins can see which travel skills you have. That's how Travel Window works. So a plugin could analyze the travel skills you have, possibly look at the cooldown of those skills, and use that in some sort of a logic. I don't plan to do that, but someone could do that. Alright, we have fed the EP cat. Coming around here. There is a seashell not far from here. And I think it's too far out of the way to be interesting to me, but I think about it. Alright, we got that kite. I think it's just worth it to go ahead and mount up to get over to the bridge. I go ahead and dismount on the stairs. You need to be on the top of it, but then you can jump off, get rid of the kite, and head pretty much west from there until you get credit for the swimming hole, at which point just leave as This is really the only direction you can practically go. It's not true. You can get out in multiple places, but we want to leave town now, and this is the closest to leaving town. Okay, we can see the cat is not there. That's a problem for us because we're not really planning to come back this way. We're not doing the offering to help. So we are going to just pause and wait approximately 5 seconds for the sassy cat. At which point, oh, so many quests. We're going to move on over to Flotsam. Go ahead and summon your kite back out if you put it away. I put it away for cleanliness sakes. Okay, we're done with it. The kite, so you can put it away. Here's the Flotsam. You know, I said you could put it away. That's probably a mistake because we're not doing any of the other quests here until we get to this kite. So, yes, it would have been better to have it out. But now we are done with kites altogether. Sandcastle and Flotsam. Maybe it's worth mounting up here. It's the first point that you can get to the Flotsam is just over here. So if you're already going to be mounted anyway, you can go a little bit past that first point. But it's such a micro savings, I don't even think it's worth it. Other than just why not? Alright, go a little bit to the right here. Because we're going into the water over that log. We swim in the southern cove, so let's get out of here. Same basic path as last time, though. We are assisting the cook, so we do need to come up here, get our herbs, get our lemons, get our olives. I would normally mount up to get to this next set there, but with the Hunter's increased runtime, I think it's kind of a wash. But normally on any other character I would. Here I will mount up though. The next tree is on the other side of that gate for the race. And then we're not fishing, we need to get on the other side of the fishing spot, and that means mounting up makes a lot of sense. Cool. I'm never sure just how much the horse will automatically navigate the topographical changes, or if you're going to get stuck on a ledge, so I do a lot of jumping. Alright, at this point you can mount up because we're going to go ways. Like I said before, if you go straight over here, you're going to end up falling enough that it will give you some falling damage. So just nip on over here and then come up and over this set of rocks, and you can fall down on the olive tree. And if you resist the urge to jump before you fall off the ledge, you'll do yourself a favor. Now, we are not doing the fishing, so we're going to backtrack to pick up 3 seashells. And that's where that one seashell over by the smelly cat was interesting to me, because if you got that, then you wouldn't have to come all the way back into this rock cluster. But I think it's kind of a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other situation, where it probably doesn't matter too much, except in this case you have already mounted and you're riding around, whereas there you might be dismounted from interacting with a cat or a seagull, or not seagull, like a kite or something. So maybe it would work, but this seems fine. So we're gonna walk along here until we get all 8 of our seashells. After the 7th one, mount up. It's far enough that it's worthwhile to get to that 8th seashell. You won't be able to collect it or select it. It's that far away. So after this one, go ahead and mount up. It's over there by that pole. And after that, the swimming spot is just in the water. So we are going to get dismounted, even if we weren't doing it from the seashells, I think. But it doesn't take very long at all. So get in the water here, and we're done. Cool. So we still have 2 swimming points and 1 tree, and
Let's go ahead and say nope, and nope, and nope. Great. What was the last one? Yeah, okay. So this is the part where I think the swimming one takes a considerable amount of time because you got to get all the way over here, and there's no other reason to be over here. You got to go all the way over here, and technically you have to come for one of these trees, but we're right here on the path. So coming and getting that tree and then continuing on to the northeast, not a big deal. All right. What a dangerous place. Okay. So we are looking for that tree. Again, this one seems objectively closer than this one. And the line to there and there seems shorter than here and back. So that's what we're doing here. Come up this path, the upper race path, and then take a hard left. And you'll see a blinking tree. All right. So from here, we're going to head on down to the swimming spot. Now it's just past this gate, and it's almost in the water. So at this point, I am curious about the time back. So what we're going to do here, even though we're on a hunter, is I'm going to pull up a stopwatch on my phone, and I'm going to time it. I've just started the stopwatch, and we're going to ride back from here, and then we want to compare that versus how long does it take to milestone. Oh man, I should have gone up on the road. This is silly. We're gonna reset that. All right, which one of these was it? Coming down from there and to here, so it was right here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and backtrack to the road, I guess. Yeah, I guess you have to. I think it's probably worth it though, right? I guess we should time both ways. Oh, those bother you even if you're not in the race. Oh, that's terrible. At least the mud doesn't. Wow, we're already at 50 seconds. My intuition that travel skill plus coming back was faster, I think is going to be true. Okay, well actually, we just needed to be here. Cool. So that was just over a minute. We're going to compare that with, let's be generous and do a guide debris. Oh, let's actually start my timer. Wow. Hit the right ones on both. Cool. So, if this takes less than a minute to get there and come back, I won't be surprised. But the real question is, since you have to reposition once you get there, is that a problem? All right. So we're here. After the little steps up, we can jump down on the beach and not get dismounted. Then we're back over here because it's more convenient to go ahead and turn in a clockwise fashion like this. Okay, so that was 35 seconds, which I think is substantially faster than riding in, and of course, a much less effort. So we're gonna come turn everything in. Make sure you get close enough to Magordo for your cat quest to turn in, so you can turn in the cat wrapper. It's possible to right-click and talk to him without actually being close enough to trigger that turn in, and then you won't see the other quest to turn in. All right, assisting the cook. And the last couple of quests. And we, of course, know that a little over a minute extra time on this completion for that little experiment. But we're all done with that. Cool. Okay. And I forgot my Fateful Toolkit.
But that means I don't have to put away. Okay, so that's what it's like when you restrict some of the quests and do not everything. Now, of course, you'll take a hit on your legendary item reward track if you're doing that. You'll take a hit on your tokens, but I think it's can make sense if you're trying to get a lot of characters through. Just do the minimum for that wrapper. Okay, so let us move on to the coding part of things, or move back to it. Okay.
So what we noticed before is a problem. Let's go ahead and pull open the main window. And that is, if I'm in Midsummer and I'm on the second guide, and I come to any other of these festivals, that's a problem. And so what I would like to do is, instead of having the current guide in general, it would be good to have a current guide for each festival. Let's take a look at what that could look like. We're going to come into globals. Okay. In globals, we have a selected festival, and we have the selected quick guide. And that was wrong. So instead of that, I think what we want is maybe a table here that would look, oh, that'd be another place to remember what festival. Well, we don't add festivals very often. Okay, so what this could look like is one for each festivals. Let's come on into the list of festivals. Oh, we have it here. So we want this, what we just saw, to be our indexes here. So let's go ahead and bring this over. This is just Sublime Text. Allow us to do a little multi-editing here. And so what we want to do is go ahead and use these variables and say that that is 1. Great. Okay, so that's good. The next question was, where were we using selected quick guide? And this is going to be a dot selected quick guide. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and when we pull that out, that's going to be good. And when we assign to it, we'll assign to that festival. Now selected festival. And then, so this is in load settings, okay. So we're going to pull out, from the selected festival, we have our quick guide. And then here, we're going to switch to the quick guide. We're going to switch it for that festival. And then when we load the festival, we'll need to go ahead and grab that one. So selected, no, yeah, selected guide equals
We need that same thing, actually, this. Okay, so that might be enough. Let's take a look. So we need to go ahead and unload and then reload that plugin. And we have an error message, which is always lovely to see, because that's way easier to figure out what's wrong than logic errors. Attempt to index field, select a quick guide. That's 198. All right. A number value. Okay. Turbine.shell.writeLine. And we're going to write out this selected quick guide. Great. This one is in setting file character. Great. Let's load this, or try to. Okay, we're in main 198. Oh, that's not the file that I thought we were. Oh, we're changing how this is stored. Let's go ahead and blow away the old save file. Okay. Okay, we're still writing stuff out. Where's that coming from? Okay, so if we come into the quick guide here, and we go ahead and change that to Furtherhome, and then we come on over to spring, we can see it's fine. Anniversary, I don't think there is a quick guide for anniversary. Midsummer, it's still, oh.
Why? I could have sworn there was one for Harvest Moth.
I'm doing that in the wrong order. We wanted to adjust switch and tree view, and we need to pull this out up above that. Okay, so we're in Furtherhome, we come to spring, we come to Midsummer, Furtherhome is selected. Great. Spring is there, Eel is there. What else do we have? We know we have Inley, Midsummer, Spring, and Yule. I would say that button should not be available. Oh, it's not. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Should the window still be open? Yeah. Don't know how much I care about that right now. Okay, cool. So we have solved another problem. Now, instead of a single one, there's multiples. Now, we do want to come back in and sort out what was up with that save file, and we might need to do an update there. So if we have quick guide, selected quick guide. So we'll go ahead and move that back to the old version. But we're going to have our version in here, aren't we? Let's go ahead and set that. What
does it make sense to do? This is just for me. So let's just delete it. Will that work? Let me do the merge first. That is a problem. Let's temporary fix to adjust have is saved for dev characters. And so what we're going to do is a deep copy. Yeah. So what we want to do is settings dot selected quick guide equals deep copy of the default quick guide. No. Default what? Let's go to globals and find out. So the default settings, great. And what? Selected quick guide. Great. And that's going to be if... Actually, I don't need that to be in here at all, do I? That can just be in main. And we're going to do that if the type of this is not a table. So if type of this is not table, then we're just going to make it a table. Regardless of the version in this file. Great. So we have the current quick guide. Selected quick guide. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and load this up. Have an error message, but that's fine. 198 in main. Should really look at the code around where I'm editing. Okay. There we go. Problem solved. We're still getting an output. I would like to not do that. Creating options when, right. Let's come on back to the options win. Get rid of that. Cool. Okay, so if we're on Furtherhome here, we come in into spring, anniversary, midsummer, and if we come back to Minas Tirith, spring and midsummer, we're still on Minas Tirith. Awesome.
So that's really promising.
We had we're only tracking the current guide. We need to do that. Cool. Okay. So one thing we'll do is go ahead and commit all the changes that we've made before I started streaming and also on stream, and then maybe just start looking at localizing this into French and German, because right now this is only in English, and that's a problem. So, yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Let's come on into our source control utility. So we're going to go ahead and add a code to upgrade 2.1 save files to 2.2 multi quick guide. And in fact, is this a big enough change to be version 3? Nah. I don't know, it's structurally incompatible. Let's go ahead and say yes. But in that case, I need in main 2.1. We're going to go ahead and say 3.0. Cool. But the file's named wrong. So many follow-on problems. Okay. 2.2. Alright, renaming the functions and the file and everything just doesn't seem worth it. Okay, so we have added that. And that is also here. We're not going to commit the temporary fix. I'm just going to log in and out of every character that I'm doing this on, and that'll fix that up. Okay, we have fixed a few MT versus Furtherhome issues. And that's going to be that, and that, and that. And this and this. That was notes, but we're going to go ahead and... we're not going to do that yet. Okay, so it's going to be added global to base save file upgrade logic on. Okay, that's not there. Okay, I have done that. Modify how we save selected quick guide from global to per festival. Great. And that's going to be in a couple different places. So there. We're going to temporarily undo that and then see if that helps us. Okay. We're going to go ahead and commit just that and call that good enough. Pull that back. Okay. Changed label to plural. Quick guide button to plural. Okay, and that's what that is. So many things. That was a output. Don't need that anymore. Further multi-guide fixes. So both of these is that. This. This and this. That. this was a note for later, so we're going to come back to that. But this, yes. This, yes. That was a fix. That was a fix, and that was a fix. Great. Anything else? Both of these were fixes. Anything else? Okay, we're going to commit that. Come on back here. Okay. Added code to offer buttons to switch quick guide. Now these buttons are only visible if there's more than one quick guide for that festival.
And if there's none, that space just goes away. Okay, so we have this, yes. All of that. We have this, which is a new function. Switch and adjust that. Yes, all of that. We have this. And we'll come back to that. Great.
So, you know what? I said localization thing, but this is actually probably more important. So one thing I didn't mention, I didn't talk about, was we have duplicates between these two quick guides for the wrapper in celebration of Midsummer. And right now, if we complete that, and in fact, let's go do that. In celebration of Midsummer, I've accepted the quest. Minas Tirith has checked it off, but Furtherhome has not. And that seems wrong. And if we go ahead and complete this, I've completed it in Furtherhome, but in Minas Tirith, I did not. Although, where's the actual? My goodness. I know it is somewhere in here, but it's not the last thing that we do. There it is. Turn it in celebration Midsummer to Faileth. So it's only looking at the current guide for those things, and I want to fix that. So what we're going to do is whenever we get one of these chat messages where we basically find the appropriate index for this current one, and this is going to be in Quick Guide Win. So let's take a look at that. Quick Guide window, and this is the line 419. Okay, so first of all, this is going to return a table. And we can actually say 1 equals that. And everywhere that's calling this, we want to go ahead and update this to go ahead and say indices equals that. And then for that index in I pairs of indices do, and we don't need to care about if index because it's definitionally that, and then we can do stuff. So if we do that basic change for all three of these functions, so coming in here, this is going to be indices. This is going to be for something index and I pairs of indices do. And then finally, right here, great, indices, and then for blank index in I pairs indices do. Okay, so all of those have been updated. So in theory, everything should be exactly the same. So if we come in here to our options and we go ahead and accept in celebration Midsummer, we can see that that worked, and we still are not getting it over there. That's fine. So next up, this function, instead of returning with the first one that it finds, let's go ahead and add that index to our table. So index is going to be a table, and we're going to go ahead and return, actually it's going to be indices. So we're going to go ahead and return indices. Index So table add insert. So it's going to be indices and this. And to make that read a little bit easier, we can actually say local index equals that. And we're going to go ahead and add that index to that table. And the table insert is going to result with it going in at the next numerical index. So we can expect this to be 1 equals 2 equals 3 equals whatever. But we can go ahead and say this turbine dot shell dot write line, we'll go ahead and indices and dump out the indices. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and come on in here. And so in celebration of Midsummer, if I say accept, I can see the indices. The first one is 1. Perfect. We'll go ahead and reset that. If we say complete, we can say the one that was completed was number 91. Awesome. Great. 97. Okay, so that's fine. But I was expecting to see 2 of them. Oh, no. Okay. So the selected quick guide, that's the problem. So if we go ahead and say we need to iterate for all of these quick guides, that's going to be the trick, but we know that oh, it's not there. That's the German one. Great. We know here this table here. So for, and this is the ID, so quick guide ID and guide name in iPairs. My pairs? Yeah. Of that thing, but we actually just want selected festival. Do. And for that, in fact, if we say, let's do turbine.shell.writeLine, and we want to see these 2 things. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. We're going to unload this, we're going to load, and we're going to go ahead and say accept. And we can see that number 1 is Minas Tirith, number 2 is Furtherhome. So that's how we're going to be looping through here. Because in this loop, we can go ahead and do that. We, instead of selected quick guide, we just want quick guide ID. We're going to look at all the quick guides for this festival and see if we find that item. So if we do, then why is that there? You know what? It's okay. We're going to do the same thing. Instead of returning it, though, we're going to do table.insert, and that is indices. That's entry.index. Maybe that was an old way of storing them. Maybe the other one's the old way. Not sure. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and unload that. We're going to load it back up. And then if we accept in celebration Midsummer, what I'm hoping is we'll either get an error message that we can debug, or both of them will disappear. So we see 2 different indices. Oh, but that's a problem. We can't just return indices. We need to return which quick guide that they're in. Okay. Let's see how these are written again.
Jarian says, for the in-league ale association, it would be nice having the needed items in inventory take off the get this drink at instructions automatically. I agree. It's been a while since I've used the quick guide to go through the in-league ale association quests, but I think I didn't do that because my mechanism is to have them all in my inventory, and so the go pick it up and drop it off just got checked off automatically as I was dropping it off. But I agree. It could be fun to introduce an inventory item check for something like that. Okay, so this quick guide when mark complete. Quick guide when handle that. Okay, what does this look like? Okay, so if we assume quick guide index is passed, then let's play with that. So that was this. So quick guide index, we got to pass that along here. If we recurse in here, we need to pass that on. We don't have it yet. Here we need to recurse in. We don't have it yet. And here and here. So then it says, just saying it would be nice. My guide requires you to have 8 free inventory slots, 11 quest slots, and the introduction for both done. No pre-stacking needed for spontaneous delivery runs. That sounds nice. I think for spontaneous delivery runs, I just log back into the other characters who have all the drinks, put them in shared storage, and then log back into my main. So, not that spontaneous. Okay. So, we need to resolve the fact that we don't have these values that we're passing. But once we do, then where this is being called, we also need to deal with this, but one thing at a time. So, for the indices, we need to have each indices is actually going to be 1 equals a table, which is quick guide ID equals 2, and then index equals 52 or something. And of course, those need to be quoted because they're not variables. And so that's what that would look like. So we need to go ahead and table insert a new table, which is quick guide ID equals, and that's quick guide ID, and index equals entry.index. Cool. So
we're going to go ahead and insert this table, which has the quick ID and the index, in both of these places. Except this one's going to be index instead of entry index. Cool. And then in these places that we're calling it, nope. Okay. So in this, we know that it's index dot index, and that one dot, actually, it's all caps. Okay. Quick ID. Great. Okay. So index that. So we know it's going to look like that in each of these three places. Okay. So just out of curiosity, if I accept that, hey, we have an error message, great. But we can see here, indices 1, index is 1, quick ID is 1, and index is 1, quick ID is 2. Great. So 447, let's find out what's wrong with that. Okay, there we go. So the other function that we're supposed to be modifying, and we didn't, this one, we should assume that it also cares about the selected. And so what we're going to do is say selected, no. Okay, we're just calling it quick guide index. Great. So we're going to pass quick guide index here. And we're going to use that any place where we're using selected quick guide. Okay. But now we need to make sure that all of these places that call it pass the appropriate thing. Okay, so we've done all of those updates. Can we see it working? Let's come on down and hit reset in both of these, just in case. And so what we want to see is both these get checked off. Can we see that? So we're going to go ahead and accept this. Awesome. So that one was fine. This one was not. Attempt to index local objective. Well, nuts. Okay. Let's see what's up. Objective. Okay, so let's see what we're doing here. So turbine.shell.writeLine. This is here. And what we want to see is everything. So I'm just going to do that. And if you do string formatting flags, that's fine. I just find this a little bit easier to write off the cuff for very specific purposes like this. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and unload that and reload that and reset Furtherhome. Great. Oh, reset. Cool. So we're going to come on in and say accept. So we can see Midsummer 1 and nil. Okay, so the quick hide index is in fact nil. That's a problem. Why is it nil? So wait. Oh no, the index is nil. That shouldn't be. Let's make that a little taller. So should have been that. All right, we're gonna put some stuff in there. Okay, accept. So there are those timestamps. So we had index and quick add ID 11, 12, great. Question begin and end 11 and 12, great. And get index from chat. Why are we back there? All right, where are we getting called? Yes, okay. It is because there's multiple functions that might be doing this. Okay, turbine shell.writeLine, and we're going to go ahead and document which of these three functions we're in. Great, okay. There's also ways to do like stack traces, but that seems overkill for this. Let's go ahead and come in. And accept. Okay, so handle request accept, great. But then we're in quest channel text objectives. Okay, so this is not correct then. So what are we doing with that? So indices should only be modified if we have an index to put in there. So if index, then do that. If entry.index, then that. Okay, let's see that. Okay, so we accept this. And then that is still not doing it for us. So, why? Turbine.shell.writeLine, adding index for quick guide ID. Okay, let's do something like that so we can see what's going in here. And then I think once we sort out this particular problem, we might be approaching a good breaking point for today's stream. And Tellurian had some more updates on the In-Lake Ale Association, where Tellurian tries not to port too often, saying that they did the route on a legendary server without any ports in 55 minutes, but using Swift travels. Yeah, I mean, that's admirable. I appreciate being able to do it faster than that, though. I forget what time we were doing it in. Hang on. Maybe I wrote that down. LOTRO Hunter assisted in the league. Yeah, File association.
Okay. Do I include how long this takes? About 25 minutes.
Yeah, so I mean, I appreciate that you were able to do it in 55 minutes on Legendary Server without any ports. That is admirable on its own, and I don't want to discount that. But the challenge is, for me, is always, can you optimize it better? And getting it down to 25 minutes with a hunter, there's a question of, okay, if you're a subscriber, at least you have access to all the reputation ports. How could you do? How fast could you do without a hunter? That would be the next most interesting thing for me. Now, we put together a spoof video that was like the fastest run, which is just like spending Mithril coins to travel to each new spot. Did it over on Bulroar because I didn't actually want to pay the Mithril coins. But it is possible to get it down to very fast if you do that. Wonder if I can find that. Okay.
Hello.
So we're going to go to Light Beyond the Shire. Playlists. Festivals. Yes. So you can do the entire run if you're willing to spend Mithril coin, which you shouldn't, in under 5 minutes. But it's very much like, talk to the person, spend the Mithril coin. Talk to the person for 3 quests, and then spend the Mithril coin. I don't think I even cared which order I was doing. It just travel to the next one. So that's very silly. But you can technically do it in 5 minutes if you if you feel very wealthy. Okay. I wanted to see what this looks like, so let's go ahead and unload and reload. Make sure we're reset and come on in. Okay. So we're right here. Okay. So adding that. Oh, maybe I fixed it one step earlier and just was scrolled up too far. Okay. Well, we got closer, but okay, I do want to see these, and then are complete. Okay, we're just going to do that output as well. Okay, so we're looking at Minas Tirith at the moment. And if we go ahead and mark this as accept, Minas Tirith does, and that one does not. Okay. And we're recreating this list view of items. So I'm not expecting it to be green or anything, but I'm expecting it to be saved somewhere that is done. So, okay, loaded. So we got our indices. So beginner and 1 1 and 2 1, market complete 1 1 and 1 2. Right. Not thrilled that those are opposite. So that is index and quick guide index. Yeah, all right. And then indices is empty for that one. So lovely. Okay. Okay, so what are we looking at for the marking it complete that it's not working?
Okay, I'm not worried about any of the also completes, but rather question. Oh. Yeah, okay. That's all fine. Okay, so we're completing things by using the
Set checked feature of the checkbox. That's a problem. So if quick guide index equals selected quick guide, then do all that, else, and. So if that's not the selected quick guide, then what is check changed? Checked changed. Okay. Handle, checked entry, tree node. Great. So what does that do? Not cared about shift, not worried about that. Okay. That's the timer for that. So quick win, set completed index. Okay. So let's make a note somewhere. So what do these look like? Stop opening that up. So we have this here and okay, that's fine. Just 2 places. Great. Quick guide ID. And we are in the middle of handling the tree node, so we can do selected quick guide. That's fine. And then same thing here. We'll go ahead and take the quick guide ID and use that. Then here, I assume it's still the same. Yep. We can pass selected quick guide. There we go. And then finally, we can use that. So where were we? Here. Else, we can go ahead and just mark it as complete. Okay, let's see what that's like. Well, that's fun. Okay, quick guide mark complete. Where was that? That was 1 1. And that was 1, 2. And I forgot to swap those in. So
Where's that?
oh yeah. So reset. Should probably have reset button in my debug options, but that's okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and put some /LSCs in there so we can tell where we are. In fact, we could make that bigger. Okay. And then we accept. Oh, it worked in Furtherhome. Great. Did it work there? Yeah, something floral. Wait. Take that. Take that. Okay. Let's try it again. Okay, that's gone. That's gone. That's lovely. So now we'll try it focusing on the first of the quick guides and see how that goes. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so is the selected guide. And then sending to checkbox. I want to see that because if we get to that, if we haven't messed anything up there, then I think some of the rewriting we did of how the checkbox does it must be at fault. So coming over here and accept. Okay.
So those are indices X1 in both quick guide 1 and 2. Great. Mark complete 1 1. It is the selected guide sending the checkbox. Great. And the other one is not. So it's how the checked changed is now working. Timer start, timer stop. Handle checked entry. Okay. So we're coming on in here. And here we're going to go ahead and do tree node get text. Okay, so we're in handle checked entry. That tells us we're there. Oh, it needs to be the tree donut checkbox, of course. Okay. Take in celebration, so we're in the right place. Yep. So we have the checkbox. We don't care about the shift key. Remove complete. It's only this down here. So if this checking quick guide. Okay, so checking quick guide. So that's this actually. But we can see Midsummer 1-1. Great. Calling that. And otherwise calling that. So that means we're almost certainly getting into here. All that should be fine.
Calling unset completed. Okay. That's surprising and would explain our behavior. But why? Why would we be calling unset completed? If the checkbox is checked. Right. Checkbox changed. Checkbox new setting is false. But that doesn't sound right.
We say set check to true. Okay, so if I do this, checkbox setting to that, okay. If I do this, checkbox new setting is false.
Why? We said set to true. Okay. The checked changed is here. So sender, I don't think that's going to do anything useful, but maybe the args will. And it might turn out that we'll need to pause here while I try to figure out what I've done incorrectly. So if I'm here and I accept it, it goes away from there as well. Okay, wait a second. So it worked here. Check back to setting true. So it's only not working when I'm on the first one. That's weird. Okay, sending the checkbox ... That was missing. Okay, why didn't we see sending to checkbox? Sending to checkbox. Okay, we have is the selected guide. Book guide mark complete. Hang on a second. Okay, obviously I'm getting things wrong. Let's go ahead and do some chat logging. So we're going to start logging, and we're going to go ahead and accept that. And then reset and reset. Then we're going to come accept that. And then we'll stop the logging. Come on into Documents, Lord of the Rings Online, and it'll be in this directory. So this should be called Standard. There we go. And what I'm really looking for is the difference between them. So we're going to go ahead and save that as the right-hand side. And we'll save that as the left-hand side. Oh, no. And just so that I can then compare them. So there's our left side, there's our right side. What's going on here? Now, the timestamps I'm not too concerned about. And in fact, maybe I should go ahead and nix those in this case. Though in general, I think they're very useful. Great. I'm going to go ahead and just leave that to show that it's the start of a thing. Okay. All right, so what's up with this? QuickBox is the selected guide. Setting checkbox. Checkbox new setting true. Okay. And then this one, setting checkbox is true, that one is false. So one is it, and one is false. This one, 1 to 2, is this it? So when that one sends it, we're getting checkbox. Okay, that's weird. So we can see it's going off the rails at quick guide when mark complete. Okay, let's take a look at that. That's here. Given defined checkbox is nil. All right, so we're on Minas Tirith. Let's go ahead and reset that. Furtherhome, reset. Accept, great. Okay, we have our indices. Setting checkbox. Checkbox new setting is true. Great. And yet it's not. Oh, that's very strange. Are we potentially double toggling it, and that's the problem? What does set complete do? Sets it to true, and that's in quick guide when set complete. Okay. Set completed 1-1. Set completed 1-2.
Okay. I have puzzled myself. I'm not entirely sure
Why we are able to check both of those boxes in the case of being on the second guide but not the first guide, and I expect there's something very silly going on here, but I'm struggling to see it. So I think now is going to be a good time to pause, and I'll probably be looking at this over the next couple of days in order to get this thing closer to shipping out to everyone. Right now only the English side works for automatic everything, and I'd like to get that at least supporting German and French before it goes out. But that's sort of the easy part, is all those strings are in the data files. It's the visual stuff where I've written some freeform stuff like walk across the bridge, where maybe Google Translate will be helpful for that. Okay, well, that's disappointing that I can't, on the face of it, see what's going on here, but obviously there's a lot of complicated stuff here. Now, this is one of the problems with sort of it's so easy to write code in the UI to manipulate things. And so when we're trying to manipulate data structures underneath the UI, a lot of the code is sitting in the UI layer, which makes it hard when we're like, okay, we just need to check off in the data structure. And if the UI is visible for that data structure, it should update itself. And we're not doing that, or we're having to manually do that. And so there's no MVC style thing going on here to save us from ourselves. Ah well. Well, I appreciate everyone being here today, and thank you for your thoughts on quick guides as well. I think that's everything we're going to cover today. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration of LOTRO plugins. I hope to see you all here next week for more Midsummer, and until then, keep plugging along. All right, bye-bye now.